No, I'm there.
For like translation. So welcome everybody to Should I Stay or Should I Go? And this is the question. I have been getting this question so much from so many different people about so many different things, not just relationships, but living situations and leases for your business and travel plans. Should I stay or should I go? And the underlying energy behind it is that we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves, and we're looking for somebody else to tell us the answers so that we can do the right thing, choose the right thing, or we can at least blame them for choosing the wrong thing because we didn't choose, they told us to do it. So, what would it be like to actually trust you? I was thinking about it this morning and how when we're babies, we know what we want. We know when we see something that we don't even know what it is, we're like, oh, that, ice cream or whatever. And if you want it or not. But how much of our training and our upbringing has totally squashed that ability to know and to trust you? How much of the things that you loved and that you wanted to do and you showed your joy and expression and appreciation and you were smacked down because it was wrong to somebody else? So what would it be like to start to build your awareness so that you know, and that you never not trust you again? And everything that's bringing up, let's destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And for anybody who doesn't know, that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And you can find out more about it at theclearingstatement.com. There were some questions sent in, but if at any time you all have questions, please interrupt, just say something, because this is for you. I'm here for you, wherever you want to go. Okay, so somebody sent in a question saying, how can I acknowledge my awareness? Well, I guess you have to find out what your awareness feels like for you. Because for each of us, it's going to be different. But when you know that you shouldn't go do something. When you know that you really want to do something and you're like afraid of it. When you're actually reaching and growing and choosing something that's beyond normal for you. And when you're not allowing yourself to grow. So part of it is just taking a moment and acknowledging that you know. How much do you know that you don't allow yourself to know? And everything that brings up, it's making people yawn. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And we all know, that's the thing, we know. So, okay, what would it take to listen to that? What would it take to follow that, regardless of what anybody else thinks or projects or expects of you? And it's not in resistance to them, and it's not in alignment and agreement. There's a space that we can be that allows us to have our awareness and allows us to have our choice beyond resistance and beyond alignment and agreement. And getting to that space is where you get to do a little bit of work. It's not hard. It's actually really, really easy. It's this relaxation and clearing your mind of all the distractions, all the expectations that other people have of you. But a lot of it is just the distractions of everything that's going on. And this particular quarantine, world quarantine, has been an amazing gift for me to see how even when you can't do the normal things and like most of life is stopped, there's still so much distraction keeping you from your awareness. And I worked on it quite a bit, as well as all the years of working on it with using the access tools, and before that doing 20 years of meditation, and before that just being this weird kid who loved magic and possibilities. So how do you acknowledge your awareness is knowing what you know and getting into that space where other people's projections, other people's expectations, other people's wishes and desires for you are quieted so that you can have the space and the presence with your energy and with what you would like to create in the world. Instead of being a leaf blowing in the wind, doing what everybody else thinks you should do. What would it be like to trust you, to choose for you, and to create what you know is possible? Everybody's so quiet. Any questions yet?
Yes, me. Oui, j'ai une question. Sorry, I'm going to say it in French and in English, of course. Okay. So my question was around, around the should I stay and should I go? There is this also time equation in it from what I perceive. And sometimes it's also, the time is like as if we were fighting something, between past, present, and future. So I'm going to say it in French.
I'll give her a minute. Okay, cool. So the time thing. Well, having your awareness is not something that is linear and you can't lock it down. Like you want to know right now, you want the answer right now, but that's a conclusion which cuts off your awareness to the continual motion of everything going on in the universe. So the question, what would my life be like in 5 years if I choose this? And what would my life be like in 5 years if I don't choose this? Or if you have other options besides that, you can use this question and just expand your awareness out 5 years. Doesn't mean that you're going to do the thing for 5 years or continue with that same choice, but in making the choice, it creates a different energy in your world. And in making not the choice, it creates a different energy in your world. And you can perceive the expansiveness or contractiveness of that if you build your muscle of awareness. And that's really the thing. Like a lot of people ask this question, but they're coming from all of their decisions, all of their judgments, all of their wanting to know the answer and conclude right now. instead of allowing the question to be, or perceiving the energy of the question going into the future. But it requires building that muscle, and all of the access tools help you build your muscle, including bars, including POC and POD, and actually using the tools and actually choosing based on what is light for you in the moment, the 10 seconds. So all of the tools do this, but how do you use the tools? How do you stay on track? You kind of need a coach sometimes. So I'll just make a shameless plug that I'm doing an awareness boot camp that starts next week called Guided Transformation. And it moves you through these 6 different steps of building your awareness. First of all, unwinding from everything that you've made or decided was you, that isn't you. And then clearing the past of all your past upsets and traumas. And then really honing your navigation system, getting a sense for what you'd really like to create as your life, breaking through barriers, conscious creation of your decadent living, and then maintaining it. So those are the 6 steps. And it can be just simply building your awareness for you, or it can be to move through a transition of, should I stay or should I go from a relationship? Should I stay or should I go from the old me and old reality to the new me and the new reality? Should I stay or should I go from living in this place to moving somewhere else? It's applicable to everything because it's based on the energy and it's based on building your awareness for you. So when we put the time thing in, we pretty much take ourselves out of infinite being, so we cut off a huge amount of our awareness. So if it's not something that you absolutely need the immediate answer to, what would it be like to indulge letting the question go out into the universe and have the universe answer you with different possibilities? And be patient and relax, because it's not that fucking important. Like in 500 years from now, how important is this should I stay or should I go decision? It's funny because we're not comfortable being in this place of not necessarily choosing, but like pausing. And it's not waiting, it's more being a space until the molecules rearrange themselves into a way that actually presents you with something that you would like to solidify and actualize into the world. So for me, the should I stay or should I go is in my lease for my business. And it's uncomfortable to be in the I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But it feels actually really cool to leave it up in the air for once. To leave those choices up in the air and see what happens and see how things shift and change and play with, oh, well, I could do this or I could do that. And what about this? And what about that? There's all these possibilities. But if we go directly to trying to conclude, we cut off our awareness of so much else that could be possible. And that's how we keep our lives small and controlled. So what possibilities are you avoiding with the conclusions you are choosing? And everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. There's another question that was sent in, unless somebody has.
There's a question in the chat as well, Julie.
Okay.
from Vivian. Can you see that?
No, I don't have my chat open because there's so many people here. I want to see them all.
Cool. Do you want me to read it out? I don't know if
Sure.
Vivian would like to come on or if I can read it out. So Vivian says, could you talk about the fear distractors and how this cuts out our choosing and be open to other possibilities?
Well, sure. All the distractor implants, anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, addictive, compulsive, obsessive, and perverted points of view, love, sex, jealousy, peace, life, death, living, and reality, fear, doubt, business, and relationship. There you go. That's living on planet Earth in this reality. And every single one of those distracts you from the infinite being you are with your infinite awareness to perceive, know, be, and receive. And it's what we're habituated to live from. So we're like a ping pong ball. We like get batted around between all these things. But eventually, as you start to build your awareness and your trust in you, you like expand beyond the ping pong. And it's almost like you're looking down at it and you can see, oh, well, I could do this and go there and do that and go there. And from that, you can choose anything. You can choose what's really fun. You can also choose trauma drama. And it's all your choice, you know? That's the cool thing about all of this is there's no wrong choice you can make. If you love getting into these passionate, crazy relationships and you're always choosing somebody that just pushes all your buttons, well, enjoy the hell out of it. And if you don't like that, make a different choice. And it seems like, oh yeah, just make a different choice. But it's so true. You are the only one choosing and creating your life. Nobody's making you do it. You're just listening to them and blaming them, but you're the one who's making the choices. And when I first started taking these Access Consciousness classes, Gary would say, don't listen to me. Listen to you and trust you. Because if you trust me above you, I will tell you something that will fuck you up so bad, you will never not trust you again. And I've seen him do it. And he probably did it to me. And I really started trusting myself. I'll give you an example. Both my husband and I were facilitators for 5 years in Access, and I was really trying to use Access to make my relationship better for one of the things that I chose it for. And I just got to the point where the relationship just was not working. And I called Gary and he yelled at me and he said, Julie, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. And I was like, oh shit. That's weird. And we had our conversation, and then a month later, he came to town to do a class. And I said, that thing you said on the phone to me is really sticking me. And he said, and something sticks you because, and I said, oh, because it's a lie. And he said, yeah. And I said, so why did you do that? I don't understand. And he said, I wanted to give you the energy of what other people were going to do. But if it was coming from me, you would probably look at it more than other people. Oh, it's making me cry. Because of his caring. Sorry.
Wow, Julie, thank you so much. That's just shown me something about kindness. Wow.
Yeah.
You're going to have us all in tears.
Yeah. So, like, I so value having my awareness, and I so value other people choosing for them, and it's just something that I would love to spread across the world like Gary's doing. So that's why I offer these classes, and to the people in my life. I mean, even my kids at this point, they grew up in Access, and they're choosing not to do Access, but they are already being it. And there are places where they so trust themselves. It's amazing. And I'm so proud to see that. And then there are other places where, they want to make me wrong because I'm doing Access now, and they don't do it. And it's like, okay, is that your awareness or is that a judgment? So the thing is, what is it that you desire? What is it that you have come here to be? And are you willing to choose it now? Is it time to start stepping up in your own life and just see how much happier you can be? For me, using these tools and trusting me, I have found this greater sense of peace, this greater sense of joy. And I've also turned the clock back a few years. It's a good side effect. You get to look younger longer and feel better. Yeah. Are there any other questions in the chat, or shall I go to
There's nothing else in the chat at the moment.
Okay. So the person writes in, how can I remember to use the tools before a situation arises, or at least 15 minutes before the situation ends? Well, that's the building the muscle again. You're not going to climb a huge mountain on the first day. Or you could try, but it's not going to be easy. But the more you practice and reach for these tools, the more you're actually willing to have your life be easy and fun and enjoyable, the more you'll pause before you go into the reaction and go, hold on a second, what was the tool that I could use here? And I know in Access, there's thousands of tools, and it's sometimes really hard to know which one to use, which is, again, the reason I created my 6 steps, is organizing the tools into specific tools that help with certain situations. So if you're feeling like you don't have you, that you're trying to find you in the mess of everything in your life, you use the tools from step 1. And if your past keeps plaguing you and coming into the future, you use the tools in step 2. And if you don't really know what heavy is or what light is for you and how to get there, that's step 3. So it's really organized into really, really simple, even for people who've never heard of Access before, to be able to go to the tool that's going to work in the moment. Instead of having to go through thousands, you've got 2 or 3 that are going to work in that situation. And then there's another question about, I'm still resisting money. How can I change this? Who else is resisting money? Should I resist money, or should I receive it with ease? The question is, what choice can you make? Anytime you have a how can I change this? How do I do this? It's what choice can I make? What choice can I make that will change this? What choices can you make that will change the things that you'd like to change? And a lot of times you have no idea what that choice is. When you ask the question, you're not asking the question because you already know the answer. You're asking the question to get awareness. So everywhere you've been asking questions to make sure you have the right answer or to try to get the right answer, instead of building your muscle of awareness so that you can have awareness and then make choices based on what's going to be light and expansive for you, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds.
It's like having a relationship with money. So we think we are living money, but are we living the money? Or does the money are living us? He's stealing the money from us, like being the victim of it?
Yeah, it's funny. Well, everything turns out to be relationships. Even talk to the entities is a lot about relationship. And, you know, the most important relationship we can have is the one with ourselves, with our body, the body and the being together. But that's like the last one we want to have. We want to have somebody else, right? Somebody else tell us, you know, how wonderful we are, and, you know, to support us and to make us feel good, instead of, you know, hey, amazing body, how wonderful you are. I just adore you. And it's funny, when we actually choose that for ourselves, then other people can't help but contribute to us in the same way or in the same energy. So how much are you actually willing to receive from other people if you're not willing to gift yourself the kindness that you would like from them? Everything that brings up, oh my God. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. Are there more questions? Well, if there aren't more questions, I just want to do a mini expanding exercise with you all to give you a taste of the energy that I like to play with, that helps me expand and build my awareness. So I think I'll go off camera for this, so that everybody can just relax and close their eyes. And it doesn't have anything to do with me, it has to do with you. Okay?
There's one question that's just come in. Did you want to do that first, or have we?
Sure.
It's from Karina to everyone. It says, how do I get it back? I'm not sure what.
How do you get it back? Well, again, the how question is not really a question. You're looking for steps. So rather than looking for steps, ask for awareness. So what choices can I make? And truth, do you really want it back? Whatever it is. If it's, you know, your awareness or something like that, it's about choosing toward it. And if it's something in your past that you think you want because it's more comfortable, but it's not something you actually really desire anymore, that's something for you to look at and know for yourself. Okay. All right.
So one quick realization, and
Okay.
I would like to check with you that, so it seems like why isn't a great question. Likewise, even how doesn't look like a great question for humanoids.
Right, right. It just makes you crazy and chase your tail like a dog. It's not why, it's that. Okay, so this is what's occurring. What choices can I make to change it? I know it seems simple and it's slightly annoying that it's so simple, but it really works. What choice can I make to change this? And have no idea what that choice is. Because in the having no idea, cognitively, your awareness gets engaged. And these little feelers go out. And the universe plays with you and sends you these different things that you can choose from. And, oftentimes when one comes in, people go, oh, that's the answer. Instead of, oh, let's play with this possibility. And, oh, here's another one. Oh, let's play with this possibility. And when you get the possibility that matches more of the energy of what you would like, then you solidify it into actualization. Don't jump on the first thing just because you got one possibility, unless that's what you'd like. We have time for a quick other story. I was flying home from Florida, and there was a connecting flight in Atlanta to California, and I really wanted to leave earlier. I had this sense that I was done and I wanted to leave. And I called the airline, and it was going to cost me more than the ticket cost to change that one flight. And I just was like, no, it felt heavy. So I was like, well, what else is possible? And I just kept leaving it as a what else is possible instead of no, I'm not going to do it. And I went to the airport a couple hours early because I knew that there was an earlier flight that they just wouldn't put me on yet. Fortunately, I had carry-on luggage, so that was easy. And when I checked in, I said, what are the possibilities of getting on the earlier flight? And they're like, it's not possible. And I'm like, what else is possible? I just kept leaving it floating in the air. Well, we can put you on a waiting list, but you won't get on. I'm like, well, put me on anyway. And I go to the gate, and I'm waiting at the gate, and they have 25 people on the waiting list. And I'm like, what else is possible? And I just kept saying, what else is possible? And all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And then I got this email saying that the flight that I was on was going to be delayed, and I would miss my connection had I stayed on that flight. So I just kept saying, okay, what else is possible? How does it get better than this? Universe, show me. And then all of a sudden, the whole waiting line opened up and I got on the flight. You could almost perceive it. There were like all these possibilities coming in that were no. They were heavy. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to solidify that. But when I heard about the waiting list and the standby, I was like, that. I'm choosing that. And I put my energy into actualizing that, or whatever it took to get a seat. And I made my connection and all was good. But I realized that it's sort of being an alchemist, playing with possibilities and actualizing, solidifying into this reality your desires. How many of you use that alchemist energy to actualize problems or to actualize other people's desires rather than your own, because they're too far-fetched, or it's crazy, or you don't even know what yours would be, so you just do what other people do. So everything that brings up times the godzillion when you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, so let's do the expanding exercise. Okay. So get comfortable. Close your eyes. Feel your feet on the ground, or if you're lying down, just scan your body from head to toe, being really present with it and relaxing any tight spots. You need to move a little, that's okay. And let any stress, anxiety, tightness just melt away. And now begin to expand your awareness beyond your body, filling the room that you're in, and then going beyond the walls, the floor, the ceiling, creating a big bubble around your body. Expanding down into the earth, up into the sky with the stars and the other planets, encompassing at least the size of the earth. And then the solar system. And then beyond, other galaxies. And relax. Relax. Notice how your head is clear of thoughts. This is the space that I like to ask questions from. When you're contracted, asking a question is not really going to be as effective because you're tapping into everything else. So from this space, this is the space of you, the infinite being that you are. So what is the energy of you? What is it that you would like to choose? What is it that you're being that you haven't been acknowledging? And will you acknowledge now? From this space, you can pull energy from all over the universe, through your desires and through you, and then send little trickles out to all of the molecules and the people and the places that will co-create with you so that you can actualize what you truly desire. This space is the space of your awareness. Play with this space, play with these energies. And I'll tell you, it's so much easier to do this as a group. When I do it on my own, it's not as perceptible as when I do it in a group, which is one of the reasons why I created the free group Expand Space to Unwind. That I do expanding exercises every Monday in California time morning. And they're available there for the last 3.5, 4 years. You can go and pick one of those. I've also put some of them on my YouTube channel if you'd like to do that. Some people don't have Facebook. No problem. I also have some on my SoundCloud. So there's lots of ways to tap into this energy and play with it. You can also listen to the replay of this Zoom. And then to build it going forward, I invite you to the Awareness Bootcamp Guided Transformation, or any of the other classes that I have coming up. I would love to have you join. If it's light for you, and if it creates more of what you'd like to actualize in the world, please choose. See how long you can stay in this expanded space. Bring it throughout your day, throughout your evening. Look for it, tap into it, be it. And thank you so, so much for joining together today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. That was amazing.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank you, Julie. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Bye.
Pleasure. Have a lovely evening, day. Denora, we'll connect with you and send some information through, okay? And Karen will send that through to you as well.